is former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina adopting the Rahul-Priyanka Gandhi model on the question of succession in her party? A BBC Bangla report published on September 8 says she indeed is doing so. Now, the Rahul Priyanka Gandhi model, the report says, is Sheikh Hasina trying to hand over the reins of her party to her two children, her son Sajib Wazed Joy, who's 54 years old, and her daughter Shaima Wazed Putul, who's 52 years old. Now, Joy is in America and he's already looking at the external communications of the Awami League, Sheikh Hasina's party. He's talking to the international press and he is putting forth the Awami League's views to the press. On her part, Putul, Sheikh Hasina's daughter, is looking at internal communications of the party, is going for diplomatic meetings on behalf of Sheikh Hasina, and she is trying to manage the party Army League from within. Now, this report published by BBC Bangla has created quite a stir in Bangladesh, and it has brought to the fore the question whether this is indeed the right step forward for the Army League. Now, Sheikh Hasina, even before Sheikh Hasina was deposed last year, there was the July Revolution, a very bloody revolution, and she had to escape to India, and she has been in India since then. But even before that happened, there was a question of her succession, and opinion was divided within Bangladesh that who will succeed Sheikh Hasina within the party, and later, if the party comes back to power in government, whether it's going to be her son Joy or her daughter Putul or somebody else that she chooses. But Sheikh Hasina is not in power in Bangladesh. In fact, her party, all political activities of her party have for now been banned within Bangladesh. Chhatro League, which is the students' union of the Army League, has been banned within Bangladesh. And not just Sheikh Hasina, but a whole ecosystem of Army League former ministers, senior leaders are in India and across the globe. Army League, it's very difficult for Army League to conduct any political party inside Bangladesh today. And if elections indeed are held in Bangladesh in February next year, as has been announced by the Yunus administration, it is highly unlikely that Army League will get a chance to participate in the elections as things stand now. But on the question of the BBC report, which says that now Joy and Putul will take over the reins of the party from Sheikh Hasina, I feel that it's a very wrong decision, and this is why. The July Revolution essentially was about a break from the past. The protests, the student-led protests started on the question of quotas in government jobs. Now, what kind of quotas were these? These were essentially quotas that were given to the children, grandchildren, beneficiaries of the 1971 War of Independence, the Mukti Jodhas as we call them. Now, a huge chunk of Bangladeshi youth feel and still feels that these quotas were misused. That okay, when the 1971 War of Independence happened, it was okay to give their children certain kind of quotas, reserve seats in government jobs for their children, but grandchildren and their children, and it has gone on, and a substantial chunk of those quotas were kept reserved for the 1971 war heroes and their extended families. And there was a lot of corruption also that crept in choosing people who are eligible for such quotas. So what the revolution, in a sense, essentially was about a break from the past. And it was also, secondly, about Sheikh Hasina and the party system, the Army League party system that she created, where the Army League top, not just the Army League top leadership, but also her family were allegedly steeped in corruption, and some of those corruption cases are now being filed. That the Yunus administration is in power. Now the argument can be made that some of these cases are politically motivated, but be that as it may, there is no denying the fact that such was the anger against Sheikh Hasina that even her father, who's widely regarded as the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was spared. There was a concerted attempt that was made to erase Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman from collective memory of Bangladesh. We have seen those visuals of his statues being pulled down, of his being desecrated, of his house, which was till recently the most famous address in Dhaka, Dhanmondi 32. being broken into and torn down, and and a huge mob going inside, ransacking 32 Dhanmondi. Now, the anger against Sheikh Hasina extended to her dead father, who was tragically assassinated on 15th August 1975, and there was an attempt to erase his memory. When such a sentiment is prevalent in Bangladesh, how fair it is, simply in terms of political judgment, to adopt the Priyanka Rahul Gandhi model of the Congress Party in India, which is, essentially the reins of the Congress Party in India is taken over by Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi. It so happens that both of them are in Parliament as MPs, but how prudent it is for Sheikh Hasina to hand over the reins of her party, the Awami League, to her children when such a sentiment is still there among a lot of people in Bangladesh.